So hi and welcome to this video in which we're going to talk to you about statics and singleton. So let's first talk about statics. Statics are proper variables that are properties of classes and not instance. What does that mean? Well, you've already met static variables. In the course we've got mathf.py. So Ben, talk a little bit more about mathf.py and how it's the property of math instead of an instance of math.
Sure, so this is your class, right? This is our template that makes instances. So if we're going to make an instance of anything, a ball, a music player, a game object, whatever, then that's this little guy. It comes out of the mold and goes and lives its life as an instance coming out of this mold. It may make a different instance with a different property. MathF is a class that has methods on it like .clamp and all sorts of different things. And one of the things it has is a property called .py. And because pi is pi, whoever asked the question, it doesn't make sense to store pi on all these little guys, on all these instances of our maths. We have a static class and pi is just in one place, sitting here on the template itself.
So basically, static variables are variables that are attached to the mold, to the class itself.
And if one of these guys wants to know about pi, these instances, the children of this class, can just say pi.
Right.
From outside, if this guy was not created from this mold, but was created over here as a child, let's say, of a different class, he needs to say mathf.py. And you don't need an instance, any of these mathf type instances anywhere in the scene. This guy can still say mathf.py and you can access that anywhere. Mm-hmm. So that's what a static is. Pretty handy.
And we actually go and use statics to create something that's called a singleton. Now, what is a singleton? Well, a singleton is the idea that you have a single instance of a particular object. So now we've got this mold that can create any number of objects, but we want it to create only one, and that is called a singleton, when you only have one instance of an object. In our case, we're going to be using the music player.
Here
and we've got a music player class, and we have a static variable. That's how we implement the singleton pattern. We use a static variable called instance, and remember, this is a property of the class, and we're basically saying this is the one instance of music player. We don't ever want another one. So when you create the first music player,
here he is. So this red guy is the first music player.
You put it in the mold, take it out of the mold, and you get a music player. And I've got the music player here. And then I'm going to set the instance variable, the instance name, the static variable, named instance, to point to my red block. Yeah. And now when I create the next one,
it comes along and says, what is the .instance? It says if instance. Now, if the instance is null, then it must have been the first one, and it would have claimed, just as Brice has shown you. But the second time, instance is not null. And because instance isn't null, it must be something. It's pointing to that guy. That guy is responsible for the music management. So you don't need to be. So this music manager that spawns in the scene destroys itself.
Bye-bye.
And if in another scene or another area, you've got another music manager that tries to create itself, it goes, if instance. Well, we do have an instance. It's still the red one. So I destroy myself.
And that's how you implement the singleton pattern using static variables in Unity.
Hope it's clearer.
Bye.